Alright everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be jumping on Teammaker again for another version of the power rankings. I was meant to get this one out last week, but because I had other videos to get out, it sort of snowballed from there and only ended up having the time to get it out this week. So we're hopping on Teammaker again. It's the old reliable Teammaker, and due to the fact that we've seen a few results shift in the top end of the ladder, it's not a given what the top four will be. So that's why I'm going to say that to last and start 15th to 18th, because I feel like you guys definitely know where I'm going to put each teams in those positions. So we're going to start with 18th, and I'm going to go the Eagles. Pretty confidently putting the Eagles at 18th. It's obviously between the North or West Coast, take your pick, but I just think the West Coast have been more disappointing with their results. Obviously they're lower on the ladder, they've got a worse percentage, but they've just been giving even less effort than North. Like, we gave them excuses in the first 3 or 4 weeks with injuries and COVID. Fair enough, and that's why you could see a reason why I'd have West Coast above North, but at the end of the day, they just haven't got any upside. Like, they've got no young talent developing in their side at all. They are consistently putting in poor efforts week in, week out. I just don't see where Eagles are going to get their next win, and I just don't see where Eagles are going to get out of this hole for many, many years. So, of course, North are in 17th. It's tough to really split them, but I just feel like West Coast have been worse, which is saying something a lot, because North have been very, very bad. To put things into perspective, we all thought North were the worst side in the comp in the first half of the year last year. Well, after round 10 or 11, they had a worse percentage than what they currently do now by like 3 or 4%. So that just speaks volumes of where North are at the moment, because we all thought they were on the rise. I had them 14th on the ladder, and they're really languishing with the Eagles to fight for that bottom spot. Now, we've got to have Essendon in 16th, and I know it's sort of looking very similar to what the ladder is right now. So Essendon in 16th, they've just been extremely disappointing. Only the 2 wins, and they've just had many lackluster, lethargic efforts that they've produced week in, week out. And that Sydney game, that probably stands out. That game sort of showed everyone that Essendon just didn't really seem to care that much. There's a chance you could see Essendon maybe kick things around, change things around in the second half of the season and play more of the kids and potentially pick up a few more results. But it's hard to see that happening. I think they'll definitely finish this position at the end of the year. Now, I'm going to put the Adelaide Crows in the 15th spot, because I think they're a 15th ranked side. Even though they're 14th on the ladder, I wasn't quite convinced with the way they played against the Eagles. Very, very solid first quarter. Let's add that. But that second, third, and fourth quarter, they really should have put the Eagles away, but they didn't. Whilst they can be competitive a lot of the time in games, they're just simply not good enough, and that's why I have them in 15th spot. I've got Giants one step ahead of the Adelaide Crows. However, I still feel like this is quite low for a side like the Giants, because they still have a lot of potential and a lot of upside. Interim coach, they could bring him some wins. Like, I feel like because of the Giants having their favourable draw, they can pick up 6 to 7 wins at the back end of the year. They could turn things around a little bit like the Saints did last year. So I wouldn't be surprised. Don't sleep on the Giants. I feel like they could rise to this position in the ladder come the end of the season, but I don't think finals is in the equation anymore. 13th spot, I think it's pretty easy from where all the teams are at that we chuck the Hawks in 13th. They've been that side that have just been extremely inconsistent. They're in games at sometimes, they're completely out of games at other times. So now it gets into the nitty gritty. All of these sides that are left remaining are sides that either will or could make the 8. They have a chance. And I think the worst out of the lot, at least so far this season, will have to be Port. I just haven't been convinced with Port at the moment, but they are still a side that could make the final. You sort of forget that they have actually won 5 of the last 6 games, but because of how shocking they started with their first 5 losses, it still puts them well behind the 8 ball and well behind the pack. Look, they're picking up a few more wins. They're finding a bit of confidence, finding a bit of form. I'm still not yet convinced on the power, that is for sure. I don't really like what Ken Hinckley's doing. I think he should probably get the sack, because let's be real, whilst they have picked up some form, all those losses have been against the shit sides. All been soft kill wins against all these bottom 3 sides were a part of those wins. So, I'm not convinced on the power. I know that they're a side who did finish top for the past couple of years, so you could potentially have a bit more trust in them, but not this year. And if they lose against Richmond, I'd call season goodbye for the power. Now, this could be a little bit controversial, but I just feel like it'd be very boring if I completely copied what the ladder was, because we all know what the ladder is. You don't want to see the ladder on a tier maker. So I'm going to go the Western Bulldogs. Now, I know this could be extreme recency bias due to their last performance against the Cats and just simply not putting off the effort, especially in that first quarter. the Dogs have fallen so far from grace, it's not even funny. Like, their recent form has been pretty putrid. Now, I know they were 3 on the trot, and that's why I actually tipped them against the Cats because of their form. Maybe I have the Suns. I just feel like the Suns don't deserve to be 11th with how good they've been performing, but maybe I'll have the Dogs just above the Suns. Yeah, I feel like that's probably right. I mean, even though the Dogs have been pretty poor, they've still been okay, and they've got a percentage of 118, so they've been able to dominate still in games against the poorer side, but I just don't think the Dogs are quite there yet, and well, they've got a tough draw, whereas the Suns don't, so I do see the Suns leapfrogging the Bulldogs very soon on the ladder. And right now, I'd probably say that the Suns have the best opportunity to make the finals in the position that they're in, probably since 2014, where they started 7-3. So the Suns have every right to. If they win their next, they've got 7 of the bottom 10 sides remaining, and if they win all 7 of them, they make the finals. As simple as that. And then they're a side capable of beating the best. They beat the Dockers, they beat the Swans, and they beat the Blues. So that must give them a lot of confidence leading into the end of the season. So I'm going to go with the Suns in 10th, or 11th, I should say, and 9th, probably Richmond. Ironically, the Tigers are in 9th. 9th man, they just do it again and again. Obviously, if they beat the Swans, they would be cemented in the 8, regardless of where Collingwood are at on the ladder. But that loss against the Swans is going to set them back a little bit. But if we ignore that, they have been ridiculously impressive in their last 4 or 5 weeks, albeit against the poorer sides. But they've almost flipped the switch. They're getting plays back. They're starting to play with more intent and with just more flair. But right now, I don't think they're going as well as what the Pies are going. So that is why I have them in the 8. I know they're in the 8 in the ladder, but it's fair enough. They're 7-5, and their last 3 games, who have they beaten? Hawthorn, which is no easy beat, and then they beat Carlton and Freo, who, besides that, could be finishing the top 4. Yeah, I think the Pies in the 8, but I'm not quite convinced yet that they're going to stay there. I think there are better sides around them, and they're going to start slipping a bit. But right now, if they beat the Ds, well, good luck catching them. That's all I'm going to say. They've got 7 sides left. I'm probably going to have the Blues in the 7th spot. I feel like the sides who had the bye last week, which are the Blues, and I think the Saints, only sides in the 8, are going to get a little bit hard done by. They're 8-3. It's a bit of a harsh one, but their percentage doesn't boast very well for them, and I feel like they're going to have to pick up a few bigger wins by bigger margins to contend for that top 4 spot. So it's between the Swans and the Saints. I think it's pretty safe to have these 4 sides probably in the top 4. I don't think many people were going to be disagreeing with me when the video started anyways, for me having those sides in the 4. But it's between Sydney and St Kilda. I don't want to be biased, but I just feel like the Saints haven't really had their chance to prove themselves yet. We've got a high percentage. We're still above the Swans on the ladder, and we played 1 less game, but the Swans did just beat the Ds. I'm going to put the Swans in 6th, only because they did have a really poor form slump. Like, they lost to Gold Coast, they lost to Carlton, which wasn't the worst loss in the world, but they still, dropped a game. And who else did they lose to? I'm pretty sure they dropped someone. They beat Essendon, which was a soft kill win, and then they lost to the Lions. So they had 3 losses in 4 games. But I'm just still going to wait on the Swans. I'm going to hold on them for now. I do see him as a top 4 contender, but I just want to see him be a little bit more consistent with the way they go about it. Saints, I'll put him in the 5. I can't put him in the 4, even though we could definitely be in the top 4 after the round. But I'm going to have the Saints in the 5. Again, I'm just going to hold them a bit. We've got a very difficult next 11 games against, we've got Brisbane away, Sydney away, Geelong away, then Brisbane and Sydney again at home, and Freo and Carlton. So those are 7 games that, well, 2018 St Kilda, we'd lose all of them. So those are games that are, definitely 50-50. And I feel like it bodes well for us, because if we are able to win those games, then it gets us well prepared for the finals, because we're going to be playing against those sides again in the finals. We're not going to be playing North or West Coast in the finals. Top 4, we're going to have the Cats in 4th. Oh, the Cats just seem to be getting it done week in, week out, and they've sort of been getting it done under the radar. Like, what are they? 8-4. Very nice percentage. They haven't really been beating the best sides, but they beat the Dogs quite convincingly. And they just seem to be getting wins very easily at GMHBA, and they've got a very nice draw to finish off the season. I mean, they've got West Coast twice, so that's automatically 2 wins to put beside them. That's 10. They've got like another 5-ish games at GMHBA Stadium. You'd expect them to win at least 4 or 5, so what's that, 15 wins? That'll probably get you a top 4 spot, and you'd probably throw in a couple of other games, so there you go. The Cats are probably going to be making the top 4. Now, this is where it gets difficult, because for pretty much the entirety of the season, we've been going under the basis that the Ds are the best side and the Lions are the second best. And we've been saying that they're the 2 sides in the upper echelon of the competition. But after the recent performances from the Fremantle Dockers, we are going to have the Lions in 3rd spot, because they've had a bit of a slump. They have lost 2 of the last 3 Could have lost against the Giants, and they just haven't been as convincing as they have been in the first 9 weeks. And second spot, this is sort of what everyone's come to the video to see. Do I have the Dockers as the best rated side currently in the competition? And I just don't think I can go quite there just yet. I'm going to have the Dockers in second and the D's still in first. But if the D's lose against the Pies, so the pressure is all on the D's right now. They've had a few off the field controversies with Stephen May and all that sort of stuff. Now they're coming up against a huge test in the Pies on the Queen's birthday clash. If they can't get up and they drop that game, that's 3 losses in a row. And that really pushes them back down into the pack of sides still contending for the top 4. And there's no guarantee that they'll finish top spot, let alone top 4. So yeah, Dockers have been super impressive. I haven't really gone over the Dockers, but they just have been able to get it done. Those third quarter surges, the Dockers, that is just super impressive. Yeah, I think they're definitely right now probably at the lock for the top 4. And Flag Mantle, are they premiership contenders? Well, I think they are. And because of that win, I have them above the Lions. That's what I was going to say leading into this video. Whoever wins against these two sides will leapfrog the other. And I'll still have the D's in first for now, but I just want to hold on the D's for a minute because they're experiencing a bit of a form slump right now, and they want to recollect and regather before it becomes a bit too late. But let me know if you agree or disagree with me down in the comments below. Do you think the Dockers are the best team in it, or do you still think it's the D's and the Lions, and maybe the Dockers are the 3rd or 4th best side in it? But right now, the Dockers seem like the team to beat. If you enjoyed the video, let me know. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new. There'll be another one of these at the end of June next month. And then, yeah, we'll see you very soon for some more content.